What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another depressing, unfortunate, sad, awful episode of Cold Takes from the Land.
Cold Takes from the Land, where you get the coldest takes from the coldest Cleveland sports fans.
All sorts of cold, buddy. That's how we're feeling right now.
Yeah, this team, man. I mean, I don't know what much else we can say because we seem to get blasted in the comments section after any video, whether we win or lose. But this freaking team, man. I mean, what is there to say? Like, the offensive line's atrocious. Deshaun Watson looks like he's a JV quarterback.
Yeah.
Freaking Kevin Stefanski play calling has been absolute ass so far this season. Defense got 24 hung on him in the first half, which is absolutely horrible. Martin Emerson continues to be a bottom 5 cornerback in the entire league.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad game all around. The defense wasn't very good. The offense was even worse. Like you said, Deshaun Watson, another bad performance here after having a good performance last week. He's just so all over the place. I'm just over it at this point. And then, like you said about Stefanski, I just think this offense, like the offense they're trying to run and the quarterback they have, it just doesn't fit with what Stefanski likes to do, and you can tell. Like, you can tell they brought in Dorsey to try and spread out this offense, make it a more, a modern spread offense, and you can tell there's almost like a fight for a hierarchy here in terms of the offensive philosophy, and I just think it's all sorts of fucked up. Like, maybe if Dorsey was calling plays, it would be a little better, but I don't know, man. This offense is just atrocious, and I'm at the point where I think you should just turn to Jameis, and Stefanski says, fuck it, we're going to run what we did with Flacco last year and give it a go.
Yeah, I'm completely on that board, man. I mean, this is the first game where I was like, okay. Like, I told everybody, including you, at the beginning of the year, I'm going to give him the first 5 games, and we did, and we're 1-4. So, fact that he just looked absolutely horrendous today. He was air-mailing throws again. He was throwing some in the dirt, just not poised in the pocket at all. The guy looks like he's never taken a blitz in his life. Like, we were getting blitzed constantly, and he just was holding the ball like he has been doing. Again, I don't want to put this all on Watson, but when you pay a guy $230 million, you expect to have consistency and good performances, and we just have not seen that. Even last week when the offensive line struggled and receivers struggled, still he looked decent, but it's still like, if his best game of the season is 1 touchdown and 175 odd yards or whatever the hell it was, like, that's not what we're paying him to be here for, man. It's getting to the point where, like, I'm pretty much okay with them just cutting bait and pulling a Denver Broncos and eating all the salary left for him, because he's untradeable. I mean, freaking years ago, everybody thought Russell Westbrook's contract was untradeable in the NBA, and this bastard, he's not playing well, and he's got all this baggage over his head, plus another pending lawsuit, which we don't know how that's going to shake out. So, yeah, he's literally untradeable. Like, you're not going to be able to trade this guy for anybody. So, and it sounds like Stefanski is still on the high horse of, hey, he's our starting quarterback, because he was talking about that in the press conference after the game a bit. I don't know if that's more of a Haslam thing. I'm kind of assuming it is, but I think it's time to cut the bait, man. Just give him, like you said, Jameis Winston, a gunslinger. He succeeded last year with Flacco when we had him, so give him a guy that can just air it out and see what we can do.
Yeah, exactly. To make matters worse, this past Thursday, Baker Mayfield has 3 touchdowns in the first half. Unfortunately, they ended up losing that game, and then today Joe Flacco throws for almost nearly 300, or he might have had more than 300 yards, and he had like 3 touchdowns.
It was more. Yeah, it was like 330. Yeah, 330, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
And meanwhile, we're over here at 15 for 28, 125 yards, a 4.5 yards per attempt, which is just horrendous. Like, he holds on to the ball for forever and a half, and I feel like the offensive line in the first half wasn't really all that bad. They kind of really fell apart in the second half, but
yeah, they started off pretty well.
Yeah, it was just a bad game all around offensively. Amari Cooper kind of looked out of it again. And I think he was, just because Watson missed him twice early. He had the deep ball down the field, which he sailed him, and then he had that like corner route where he was very much open and he just way overlet him, and it's just annoying. Jerry Jeudy had a bad drop in the end zone too that would have been a touchdown. So it's just all sorts of garbage. This offense is just putrid, and like I almost feel like it's a disrespect to Nick Chubb if we try to just toss him into this offense in the current state. But who knows? Maybe it'll make it better. I don't know. I'm just kind of out of options offensively at this point.
I mean, Yeah. I mean, I'm fully expecting him to take the full 3 weeks to be activated, like everybody's saying. So he's gonna miss the next 2 games. And if you don't win the next 2, I don't see any point in reactivating him at all. I mean, guy came off his second major injury of his career to his knee there, and is just, if we throw him out there behind this offensive line and with what Watson's doing, his damn career might be ended.
Yeah, who knows, man? I mean,
and it's like, it's bad too when you're on Twitter and you see people tweeting about how they had more fun or 1-31 2 seasons than this, and it's like, my God, man, it's just when you have a guy that's already comes in with baggage that nobody likes.
right.
I mean, I don't think, no matter how well he plays, I wasn't going to give a fuck about, like, I'm never going to like Deshaun Watson. So even if he comes out and he's posting a 5,000-yard season like in Houston, you're not going to like him personally. You're rooting for the team, not the player. And then he comes out and he's looking worse than fucking PJ Walker last year. PJ Walker was out here beating the fucking 49ers.
Literally. Oh, God.
It's horrible, bro. It's just like they take the joy out of it. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ. For the team in Cleveland, I think outside of possibly the Cavs with the young 4 and the big nucleus we have going there, like, I think the Browns are like the most like top to bottom talent we have on any of our teams. The Guardians, I think, are very talented, but I think that's more like just the Guardians have really great camaraderie and they have like a couple really good players, where it's like the Browns coming into the season, I thought we had like multiple Pro Bowlers on both sides of the ball. I thought our return game could be good. We haven't even seen freaking Hines come out yet because he's still been hurt. Thrash has been down for the entire season. And it's like, for the amount of talent you have and what you're paying these guys, it's almost unwatchable. Like, I almost debated not watching the second half.
Right. Yeah, it was bad. I was kind of hoping that we would see Jameis in the second half, but they stuck Watson pretty much the entire game, and it was just like it's the offense, like you said. It's not even like they're taking shots downfield and just turning the ball over a bunch. It's just a sad watch. Like, it's a lot of 3-yard runs and short throws and incomplete passes.
Screens for 5-yard losses.
Yeah, it's just not good, and you could tell, like, I think the players are frustrated. I think Stefanski's frustrated. I think everything is just not working, and I haven't, like, this offense is just anemic at this point. And then on to add insult to injury, Washington put up 34, and Jaden Daniels is a young quarterback who's balling, and he looks great, and we're over here just fucking almost playing for a draft pick at this point.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I mean, there's just nothing, like, you watch the game and there's nothing to get you excited. And it goes to show in sports, it's more than just having talent on paper. Like I said, Guardians, like, we have some really good talent on the Guardians, don't get me wrong, but it's like the Guardians are so well coached, and we have really good positional coaches, Carl Willis, pitching coach, all this other stuff. And it feels like the guys all genuinely like love each other and want to play hard for each other. And it's like, we just don't have that. The camaraderie's not there on the Browns. Like, we were humming last year. And then fucking old Deshaun Grapist Watson comes back and fucking the whole ship is sinking, basically. And it's like, it goes to show that there's way more than just having talent and throwing it out there. Like, you have to have the coaching. You have to have guys that want to be out there. I was kind of talking with my grandma and my cousin today, and my cousin's like, dude, it looks like literally the offensive line is just, it looks like they hate Watson and they're just giving up sacks, like hoping he's going to get hurt and Winston comes in. Like, it looks like they don't give a fuck about Watson, which I don't blame them. I don't give a fuck about Watson. So the fact that you paid this guy all this money, it just goes to show how much of an absolute dipshit Jimmy Haslam is. Getting rid of a guy off of a season where Baker had a fucked up shoulder. And I hate to keep bringing it up because it's a past and we're not getting Baker back. But Jesus fucking Christ. Like, me, when this trade went through, I was like, oh, I don't fucking love this.
We both were, like, indifferent about it because we're like, well, if we get this great player, then, like, cool. But, like, at the same time, like, we both were fans of Baker, and, like, he loved the city, and obviously he was coming off of a bad year, but he was injured, and like you thought we'd give him one more year, but we go and trade for this guy that not only hadn't played in a year, but he was just a controversial figure, and ever since he's gotten back, it's just been nothing but mid-play at best, and controversial off the field headlines, and it's just sad. And then the one shred of lightness we got with Joe Flacco, we just didn't even offer him a contract, and that's I knew it was going to happen because I knew that the team as a front office wouldn't want the distraction of Flacco being on this roster. And just like what is happening right now, if Deshaun plays bad, the fan base would be clamoring for Flacco more than we're clamoring for Winston right now. And maybe you don't want that media attention, but at the same time, Watson hasn't played well, and now you're kind of like, well, Flacco's out there, putting together good games for the Colts. Maybe it'd be nice to have him. Granted, I do like Jameis Winston, but I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna happen at this point.
Yeah, with Flacco, I mean, the way he's slinging it out there, it looks like this guy can play another 2-3 years. I really don't understand not offering him a contract. I get Watson kind of being like, okay, you don't want to piss off your starting quarterback by having him sitting on the bench, but it's like, dude, who cares? Like, they were even saying on the broadcast, Greg Olson's like, yo, it's like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, and he brought up the whole Denver situation. He's like, if you're not contributing, he's like, we really got to have these talks in the locker room and in the front office of like, hey, he's making $230 million. It doesn't fucking matter. We're not seeing it on the field.
Right.
So it's like, I would have freaking, if it was my team, my ass would have fucking started Winston last game. But I mean, man, I would seriously think about cutting ties, doing what Denver did, starting Winston the rest of the year, maybe extending him an extra year next year, and kind of drafting somebody in the first round and letting him sit behind them to kind of learn. But either that or make a call to Flacco, be like, listen, dude, we liked having you here in 2023 a lot. We're interested in giving you a 2-year deal. Because like I said, the way he's playing, dude, he can play another 2-3 years, like easily. And I'm like, give Joe Flacco a 2-year deal. This is being optimistic, but give Flacco a 2-year deal, draft a quarterback, let him sit behind Flacco.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, I'm sure that's possible in a way, but I think, Winston, can give us similar production to what Flacco was giving, and he's a lot younger. So I kind of like that idea more of just,
just
starting
extend him a year.
Or starting Winston. And if Winston plays similarly to kind of what we were getting from Joe last year, just bring him back for another season and maybe draft a rookie. The rookie quarterback class this upcoming season is looking to be kind of interesting. So I don't know. Who knows? This is fucking crazy to me that we're over here talking about drafting a quarterback in the draft when we thought we wouldn't have to do that for a long time. But
yeah, we gave up so much for him, though, man. We gave up way too much for Watson in the first place. The haul we gave up is like something you give up for a fucking Mahomes type. Like, we gave up way too much to get Deshaun Watson. And that's on Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam. Yeah,
I agree. But, yeah, I don't even have any game-specific things I really have to say outside of just the whole team was atrocious. It looked like they didn't really want to be out there. It looked like they were over it, the coaching staff and roster, especially the offense. The offense seems they're just tired of this offense. They're tired of playing with Deshaun. And, I don't know. Maybe when you get Nick Chubb back, that kind of sparks the rest of the guys a little bit because everyone loves Chubb so much.Maybe they'll play a little harder and Chubb will add a little spark to the run game. But, you can't really rely on that. So at this point, I would love to see Stefanski just kind of be like, okay, you're the owner, you're the GM, but this is my team. This is my team to coach, and I make these decisions. It's time to, put Winston in, and I guarantee it. As soon as he stepped on the field, the whole dynamic in terms of morale would change, just because a lot of people love Jameis, and even though he's not the best quarterback in the world, and he's a backup for a reason, but he can go out and he can produce at least. And I think the team would rally around him, especially once you get Chubb back and Njoku's 100%, and the line keeps getting healthier. There's a very small, tiny shred of a savior to be in this season if it goes in that direction. But if you keep on chugging Watson out there and running this horrendous-looking offense, it's going to be depressing for the rest of the year, because we got some tough games for the rest of the season. It's a tough go of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. You got Philly next week, and then we really start to get into the hard part of the schedule where we got Cincinnati and then some of the divisional games coming up. But what you just touched on, I think, is the exact reason why you have to make a move. We've seen it before where it's like we're having a really tough start to the season, and then like the game you went to, the Jets game where they put Baker Mayfield in, he comes in, the morale changes, he starts slinging the ball around, we get a couple touchdowns, and then we win the game. And it's like there's more to sports than just, and I'm sure Stefanski knows this, but I hope he doesn't go down with this Watson ship, because if he has to just keep sitting up there at the podium and being like, Deshaun's our quarterback, we're not making a quarterback change, at some point you got to look at the product on the field and be like, listen, man, like you said, I'm the head coach of this team. I get Jimmy Haslam's the owner, but fuck this. Like, I got to make a change. And I think he knows, Andrew Berry knows, everybody knows, once you make that move, you can't go back. But it's like, this is the time. You're 1-4 in the easiest part of the schedule by far. And that's not me shitting on the Commanders at all. I think they were fucking awesome. I think they're one of the better stories in the NFL this year, along with the Vikings. I mean, they fucking just completely outclassed us in all facets of the game today. Their defense was insane. Freaking shut down our offense all game. We didn't get any run game going. They were just fucking absurd on both sides of the ball. Jaden Daniels is out there rushing for almost 100 yards, threw a couple more touchdowns. So
he's a stud.
They were insane. Oh, he's a stud. Yeah, they're a great team. And I think they just beat the absolute teetotal dog shit out of us today. Yeah. But the fact that this is basically the same team outside of Taki and Joe Flacco and a few random others from last year, and this is how we look. I mean, it's on the fucking quarterback, man. It's on the quarterback. There's nothing else you can say.
Yeah, and like you said, it would really suck to see Stefanski go down with the ship, because if he doesn't make that move and Watson maintains the rest of the year and it keeps going like this, this is a season where we could end up winning like 5 games, and knowing how impulsive Haslam is, Stefanski could get fired, and I don't really want to see that, just because that would be kind of insane to me. But I could definitely see it happening just because of the city this team's in and the owner who owns this team. It's not good. So like I said, it's time for Stefanski to be like, you know what, I'm playing for my job right now, and it's time to get this motherfucker who be eating dubs in this game, and trying to make something happen. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Just about almost this kind of is the worst case scenario of how this season could have started.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he didn't lose the locker room, because like there was a point in that game where we were about to go for it on 4th down, and I'm sure you saw the play where Watson's fucking walking towards the sideline, and we almost have to burn another timeout, and Stefanski's looking at him like, what the fuck are we doing? And I think that's a turning point in the season where his ass should have been benched then. And by you bringing him out for the next 3 series to end the game, like I guarantee his teammates are looking around like, what the fuck? Like, if that was any other player, they'd be like, yeah, fuck, your ass is on the bench. Like, fucking sit down. Winston's in. Right. Like, fucking putting this bum back in after that horrendous fucking mistake. Like, and it wasn't the first time that's happened. He had another play earlier in the game where we fucking blew a timeout, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck are we doing? It was the beginning of the 3rd quarter, and I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ. I'm like, we're going to have to, like, if this is a close game, we're going to have to need these timeouts in the 4th quarter. It's the end of the game, and our clock management's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the whole offense is just atrocious. Just from the philosophy itself, the plays we're calling out there, the quarterback performance, the O-line, the receivers, the fucking just getting in and out of the huddle. It's just all fucked right now, and it's just bad, man. I don't really know what else to say.
How does it go from this? How does it change to last season? My question. Like, personnel's all the same, outside of us bringing on freaking somebody to replace Stump. We brought in Vrabel as a consultant, but it's like not much has really changed. So I don't understand why we look so bad. Like, it looks like we just have no will to be out there at all.
Yeah,
these guys don't want to play for each other. They don't want to play hard.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are looking at the O-line coach with the loss of Bill Callahan, and obviously that definitely hurts the O-line. But at the same time, like the O-line's just been so atrocious. Like, that can't be all coaching. Like, it's just effort and execution and
I'm like,
injury.
We have some guys that should be making plays that were making plays last year. Like, Pocic hasn't been nearly as good. Zinter could have been a guy that's been flourishing a lot more under Bill Callahan, because that's a guy, like you said, who's a top 3 probably offensive line coach in the game. But we have guys that have had plenty of experience. Batonio, who's been still pretty solid, but everybody else, it's like they shouldn't be this bad. Like, I get we're not one of the best offensive lines, but just looking at who we have, we should not be this fucking bad where we're giving up 6, 7, 8 sacks every week, it feels like.
Yeah, it's just all bad, man. I don't have a whole lot of optimism unless some major changes are made, but when you look at this team's schedule, we're in Philly, and then we play a tough Bengals team that's going to be desperate for a win, and then you got to play the Ravens, who look real good, and then that's a tough 3-game stretch. And then throughout the rest of the year, we got to play Pittsburgh twice, who's playing well. The Saints are like magically a pretty good team. The Chargers are tough. Then we got to play the fucking Chiefs, and then you're in Cincinnati again. You got to play Miami, which our luck by that point too will be back, and they'll be back firing on all cylinders. And we are in Baltimore to end the year. The one genuinely maybe winnable game in this stretch where I would favor us is maybe in Denver, and I don't even know if I would favor us in that game.
Yeah, I mean, what can go wrong will go wrong, buddy. It feels like we're the Dallas Cowboys of old, where freaking one thing happens and we're just spiraling down a fucking rabbit hill of absolute incompetentness.
Yeah, but
I don't. They got to do something, man. I mean, you got to get Winston out there, or else you're going to start having guys that are requesting trades and doing all this other shit. So Get
Yes.
Winston in there. I mean, who's to say? Like, I don't even know if Deshaun gets another chance to start if we cut him.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think anybody's gonna pick him up.
he might not even get signed for real, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know, man.
He's been fucking terrible, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. I'm just ready to get on out of here and watch some good football teams play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I just hope, like you said, with Stefanski, I hope he's fine. I hope his job's secure after getting extended. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to start having some internal talks of like, listen, man, like I don't give a fuck what we're paying this quarterback. He's a bum. Get him the fuck out of here.
He's a bum. What a
He's
bum.
a bum.
But
What is like? How do you make that mistake too? Looking back, like fucking paying a guy $230 million after not playing for 2 years. Like what the fuck? Like that's something only us. Like we're the only franchise in the league that would do that. Literally, I think.
maybe.
Because the Falcons weren't offering him that much. That's the reason he fucking came here. He wanted to go to the Falcons originally, and that didn't fucking happen. He wanted to go to I think the Saints were on the list of teams that he was interested in going to. They weren't going to pay him that fucking much.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Only in Cleveland, as they say. Only in Cleveland. But I don't know. I'm about ready to go fucking jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
How about you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Hey, shit. Maybe we'll get some good news tomorrow that Deshaun Watson's found guilty and we can void his entire contract.
I thought you were going in a different direction. I thought you were going to be like, well, maybe we wake up tomorrow and it turns out Deshaun Watson's missing and we got to start.
No. At one point in the game, though, I was like, dude, like, I kind of just hope he gets hurt. Because it's like, I'm not rooting for somebody to get hurt normally, but I don't give a fuck about this guy. He's a fucking scumbag. He's a fucking creep. Like, I hope somebody decks him and he's just fucking, either his career's over or he's done for the season. Like, that's what I want to fucking happen at this point.
I'm not going to argue, but yeah, I think that's all we got to say. I don't know if you got anything else you want to add. I think we got everything off our chest.
No, yeah, fuck the Browns, fuck this team, for giving us fucking hope every single year and then coming out and shitting the bed. We can never fucking string 2 consecutive good seasons together. It's always, hey, we make the playoffs, we're dog shit for the next 2 years. We make the playoffs, we're fucking shit the next year. So,
Yeah.
fuck this franchise, fuck our owner, and let's get this fucking quarterback out of town. I hope they boo the shit out of him in our next home game.
I agree, buddy. But well, we appreciate you guys for listening. Another week of ranting about the Browns being utter booty cheeks, and I'm sure it's going to continue the rest of the season. So it's all right. We got the Guards in the playoffs, and then we got basketball season coming up. We'll probably have our Cavs preview out probably within the next few weeks because season's coming.
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
they'll be good at least, and the Guards are good.
Yeah.
So we'll enjoy that.
Definitely
some
something to
more.
look forward to.
Yeah.
It was nice to see the Commanders look good. I mean, shit, we'll give props to them. They look fucking great today. So it's cool to see a team that's been suffering for a long time like us come out and absolutely decimate the last 3 teams they played.
Yes. Yeah, they did look good. And we did not.
Yep.
And
We sure didn't.
Yeah. And yeah.
I think Wadsworth might beat this team, buddy. Wadsworth is 7-0 right now.
Shit, fucking Barberton's high school football team who has 1 win might beat this team. But but yeah, once again, we appreciate you guys for listening, and our next vid will probably be either the Guardians post-series recap or the next Browns preview, depending on what happens first. Hopefully it's the Guards, because that's a little bit more fun to talk about at this point. But like I said, we appreciate you guys for listening, and we will see you in the next one.
Colt takes him to land.